Hello aviation enthusiasts, just flew in from LaGuardia, landed at O'Hare, and thought I would get with you guys about a question I seem to be getting a lot lately, is how do I become an airline pilot? Okay, so first and foremost, to become an airline pilot, you want to make sure that you really love flying, because it's a long and it's a hard road, and there could be difficulties and some bumps along the way, and you definitely need that passion to give you the gusto to get through those hurdles. Okay, so I would recommend going to a local flight school in your area. You say, well, where's a local flight school? Just Google it. There'll be one pretty close to you. Go to it, and there'll be some awesome flight instructors there that would love to take you on what's called an intro flight. Usually you can get these flights for under $100. You go there and they give you the basic gist of how an airplane works, let you go up. They'll probably even give you the flight controls so you can actually have your hands and actually fly the airplane, your very first flight. Obviously, he'll do the takeoff, he'll do the landing, and he'll be there to make sure that you don't do anything crazy. But it's a really great experience. At that moment, if you know this is definitely what you want to do, then comes the next step. I know that the first time that I went flying, as a child, I always knew I wanted to fly. But everybody, you know, when you're a young kid, they're like, of course, every young little boy wants to fly, or every young little kid thinks that's cool to be a police officer, a fireman, or a pilot, what have you. But when I was 11 years old, I think I was about 11 years old, my grandpa took me up on a very first flight. I was in a little Cessna 150 two-seater, and at that moment I knew I definitely wanted to fly. Never really flew again in a small plane until I actually started my flight lessons when I turned 18, but that was enough passion to keep me going. So go up on that flight. If you're definitely sold on it at that point, then the next thing that you'll want to do is make sure that you can get a medical, because you can get all the certificates, you can dump tens of thousands of dollars into it, have great skill, but without a medical, your licenses aren't any good, basically. So you want to make sure that you can get a medical. It's not super hard to get an aviation medical, but if there is certain things that are red flags that the FAA doctor will be able to let you know, or maybe issues before you go and investing a lot of money. Once you have the intro out of the way, you definitely know you want to fly, and this is for you. You have the medical taken care of, you know that there's no issues that way. Some people say, well, what about glasses? I wear glasses, I can't be a pilot. That's a crazy misnomer. You have to have pretty bad eyesight or something that's really hard that the doctors can't be able to fix for you not to be able to be a pilot. So don't let that be a big roadblock for you. Okay, how old can you be to start flying? Well, you can start right away. Even kids in high school can start to learn to fly. Now, you need to be 16 to solo, but you can start building a relationship with the airport folks, come in and hangar fly, and talk to the guys even 12, 13, 14 years old. My sister, when she got her pilot's license, she got it before she had her driver's license. Okay, so basically, the sooner the better. Start getting around aviation, start getting yourselves around pilots, and that'll help for sure. Some guys are like, hey, well, I want to become an airline pilot, but, you know, I'm in my 30s or maybe 40s. Is that too old for me? Now, the age for retirement for an airline pilot is 65, so you do have to take that into consideration. But if it's been your passion, go for it. Even if you only have 5 or 10 years that you can give, there's airlines that are hiring guys that are up in years, so go for it. As far as the process of getting your certificates, first you need to get your private pilot's license. This allows you to freely fly day or night all around the country. You can take up your friends, take up family members. You can't fly for hire. You can't charge for the flying, but you can go and sightsee and, you know, fly up to your grandparents' house, or maybe if you have a friend in Florida that you always wanted to see, you know, take off from Indiana or Illinois and fly all the way down there, wherever it is that you live. It gives you a lot of freedom, and there's tons of airports. It's a great community. Just being a private pilot in and of itself is an amazing experience. But as you go on, if you want to go for the commercial level, flying in the airlines, you need to continue on past your private and go ahead and get your IFR certificate. This allows you to fly on instruments, allows you to fly in the clouds, more inclement weather. So after you get your IFR, the next step would be your commercial. This allows you to be able to actually charge people or get paid to fly. Now, you can't start your own airline, and there's rules and stipulations to how you can get paid, but basically you can get hired flying, maybe hired as a banner tower, or hired as a, aviation photographer. taking pictures around the country. There's several different opportunities that are available for commercial pilots. But perhaps the most popular way to build your hours, and also I believe the best way, this is just my opinion, is to become a flight instructor. There's a saying that says, he who does the teaching does the learning, and I really believe this applies in aviation. I know that as a pilot, I thought I was a pretty decent pilot, but when I became a flight instructor, I think that I became a really great pilot that way. It wasn't until I had to teach it that I fully understood a lot of the concepts that had to do with aviation. So basically, you can get your CFI, which allows you to instruct and teach other people, and getting paid all along. And then also, you can move on to get your CFII, which allows you to teach people how to fly instruments. And then eventually you're going to want to get your multi-certificate as well. That allows you to fly with an airplane that has multiple engines, usually 2. And then you'll get your MEI, which allows you to teach people that are looking to get their multi-rating as well. Now, to be considered for the airlines, you need to have a minimum of 1,500 hours of flight time, or for approved schools, in 141 schools that have an airlines degree program, you know, the degree in aeronautics, you can get your qualifications with as few as 1,000 hours and get a restricted ATP and be allowed to fly as a first officer or as a co-pilot, second command, whatever you want to call that, for the airlines. Okay, so first officer either has to have the 1,500 hours or needs to go to a school, an aviation school like, you know, Embry-Riddle, Purdue, I know Lewis University. There's several of them around the country. I personally went to Liberty University, but I actually had all my certificates before I went to university. Okay, so basically you can actually get hired now, and this wasn't the way before. To get hired, you needed to have a degree. Now, does the degree have to be in aeronautics? No, not necessarily. Does it help to be in aeronautics? Maybe. But basically, you need to have a bachelor's to go to what we call mainline, or the legacy carriers like American, United, Delta, Southwest. I know that some of them have removed the rule that you have to have a degree, but most people are not getting even a chance at interviews, even if they have a ton of experience, unless they have that degree. There are exceptions to the rule, but you do want to have a degree. Now, to get to the airlines, the regional level, you do not have to have a degree. So if you're trying to get to the airlines as quickly as possible, I would encourage you to just get your certificates, and then after you've gotten that job at your first airline, whether that's, you know, SkyWest, Envoy, Mesa, GoJet, whatever regional fits you best. Hey, shameless plug, I think SkyWest is one of the best out there, so definitely give it a chance. If you have any questions regarding SkyWest specifically, I can get you the answers. If I don't know the answer, I definitely have some friends in the hiring department that can get you the exact answer you're looking for, whether or not it's about the cadet program or the hiring process, what bases we have, what aircraft we fly. I'd love to answer any questions regarding that. It's a great company, good culture, a lot of good people here. Is there room for improvement? Always there is, especially at the regional level, but it's a great company to work for, and I'm super happy to be here. But anyway, moving along. Okay, so if you want the quickest way to get all your certificates, you have to make this choice for yourself. There's 3 different ways that you can basically get to the airlines. Number 1, you can choose to just go to a local flight school in your area and get your certificate that way, and then apply and, you know, build your hours either by, you know, doing commercial work, flying, you know, do an aerial survey, what have you, or as a flight instructor, or flying cargo. Or you can go the route of an accelerated program through like ATP or American Flyers, those type of programs. You might pay a little bit more, but it really is a great program because it keeps you on track, it keeps you focused, and you can see your progress. A lot of people that go to a local flight school that get so far along and then they get bogged down, or they don't see progress, or they kind of hit a plateau or a rough spot and then they just quit. Okay, a program that's an accelerated program you stay excited because you can see your progress. These cost a little bit more, and you have to take time basically to be a full-time student. You can't just do it part-time on the side. So that's one of the disadvantages, but then it's also one of the advantages at the same time. It's just whether or not what your life experience is that you can do it or not. A local flight school is basically going to curtail the program to you. However many times you can come in there, that's how quick the program's going to go. So you have to be a little bit more self-motivated that way. Or the other route is you can go to a college that has a flight degree program. Basically, as you're getting your 4-year degree, which you're going to want eventually, you can also get your pilot's licenses and certificates along the way, and then a lot of those schools will actually hire you or can help you find jobs to become a flight instructor afterwards. So those are the 3 main ways that you can get your certificates. You have to see which way works best for you. An option that I think is great right now is to do the accelerated program, get through, get your certificates, and you can find a job now. Back when I got my certificates, there wasn't just jobs available to work full-time. I remember when my chief pilot came to me, and I'd been just working part-time as a flight instructor, and he said, "Hey, we really like how you're doing. Why don't you do this full-time?" And I was like, wow, I could do that? It was just amazing to me that I could get paid to do what I love. It's just a fantastic feeling. And then eventually the doors opened up for me to be able to go to the airlines, and I love it. But you have to see what fits you best, and if you end up going to whatever program you end up going to, a lot of them will be able to help you get a job either in instructing, or they have connections with other aviation companies that you can build your hours. And if you decide to go the route that is the quickest to the airlines and just get your certificates and get to the airlines, there's a lot of schools that offer online programs where you can actually finish up your degree all while building seniority. You see, the airline's based on seniority. Your schedule, your pay, everything you do is based on seniority. So getting that seniority is very important. So I would encourage whatever program you choose, do what's best for you, but if at all possible, try to do the most accelerated way possible to get to the airline. Get that job, and even if you don't have a degree yet, you can finish your degree all while gaining seniority at the airline you're at, and then you're much more marketable once you have your 4-year degree to go on to the major airlines or to a legacy carrier. So that's basically the steps to become an airline pilot. Make sure to, if you have any questions, throw them in the comments below. I usually am pretty good at getting back to everybody that asks a question. Or if you have more specific or personal questions, usually the best way to get a hold of me if you don't want everybody else chiming in on your question is to shoot me a message either on my Facebook page or on Instagram, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Hopefully this has helped, and I look forward to hopefully seeing some of you guys out on the line and flying with you. That'd be awesome. So if this video has been a help to you, make sure to smash that thumbs up button, give it a like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Alright, look forward to talking to you guys later.